The Alien franchise is back with a brand new movie that is hitting theaters this weekend, and I am so excited to talk about this one because this might be the third best movie in the Alien series. Let's find out in the review. Alien Romulus is co-written and directed by Fede Alvarez, as it is produced by Ridley Scott, who directed the original Alien film. This is the 9th film in the Alien franchise, including the Alien vs. Predator films. This film is set between the events of Alien and Aliens, which is super cool because we haven't had a film that's set between those two as of yet. So going into this film, I was ecstatic to check this film out, as the trailers for this film have been excellent, with amazing marketing and all of the awesome posters. And one of the biggest reasons I was excited was because of Fede Alvarez, who I think is a really solid director, as he has made some pretty decent movies like Don't Breathe and Evil Dead from 2013, and those are primarily horror films. And so that is what I was expecting, going back to the horror route. And you have Ridley Scott here to produce this film instead of direct it like the previous two Alien prequel films, and you put that all together, and this was a really good movie that you definitely have to go see on the big screen. With this film costing around $65 to $80 million, you can feel that money on the big screen, as this is such a great looking film. The production design in this movie is fantastic, which is what you would expect from all of the Alien films. I absolutely love that these worlds all look so real. It is a positive I've had with every single one of these films, and I have to give a lot of credit to one of the production companies on this film, Brandywine Productions, who has produced pretty much almost every single Alien film and is one of the reasons why this movie looks as great as it does. The visual effects in this film are absolutely outstanding. I mean, it is so exceptional that, as someone who loves practical effects and the use of CGI and how those two can coexist and work in a modern day film, this is it right here, especially with a horror film like the Alien franchise, and it looks incredible. All the xenomorphs look perfect in this movie. Even if they are CGI in certain moments, I honestly could not tell, because the movie does a fantastic job to make these xenomorphs come to life, because they were so scary that I was fiddling in my seat. I was playing with my hair. It's usually what I do when I'm feeling nervous or scared. And when you have Fede Alvarez's great direction in this film with fantastic shots and being able to craft a well put together horror movie, you know this movie is going to be scary. Speaking of Fede Alvarez, this is one of the biggest reasons why this film works. He loves this Alien franchise, but not just love this franchise, he understands why it is great. He understands what makes it scary, how to make interesting characters. He was able to incorporate all of the references that Alien fans like myself are going to enjoy, but it doesn't take away from the film. It still works, and it's intense, it's scary, it's action-packed. The pacing of this movie is excellent, and I would love to see what he can do next. I think Ridley Scott deserves a lot of credit for this, because he stepped down from directing and gave the reins to Fede Alvarez. He was able to give Fede Alvarez everything that he needed to make this movie work, and you can tell his presence on this film does make this movie really work here, and I think he produced another really awesome movie. Now, going back to the horror elements, this is easily one of the scariest movies I have seen this year, and not just jump scares. Like, there's only one jump scare that I can remember in this movie, and it literally terrified the living crap out of me. I did not expect it, because the movie didn't have really any jump scares up to that point, but this movie decides to be creepy and disturbing in its imagery, especially a certain thing that happens in the third act of the movie with one of the xenomorphs that was actually terrifying and so creepy, and I could not go to sleep after that. I went to a 10:30 show and I just could not sleep when I got home. Cailee Spaeny is in the lead role of this film, and I thought she was really good. After coming off from playing Elvis Presley's wife Priscilla in the Priscilla film, which I thought she was really good in that movie, she was a great choice for this role. I actually loved what she was able to do with this film. I thought that she really carried her own without trying to be the big female lead role like the Sigourney Weaver, Ellen Ripley character. This feels like her own thing, and I thought she was really great in this role. There are so many sequences in this film that are exhilarating and action-packed, especially one that involves a zero gravity, which I thought was genius and so creative and was definitely one of the most intense and fun moments of the film. There are so many really cool and creative kills in this movie that were actually really disturbing and bloody, that actually really got under my skin and actually played itself very well. Unfortunately, I do have quite a few criticisms with this film, and I have to start with the first 30 or 35 minutes of the beginning of the film, where there is a ton of character development and getting to the Romulus ship and all of the background information from alien to aliens. It is interesting, like the writing is okay, but I think comparative to the other Alien films, the beginning of this film just did not do it for me, and I was just waiting for things to get more interesting. And the last criticism I have is one that I have with all of the Alien sequel films besides Aliens, where there is a lot of dumb and stupid decisions that happen, and there are many story and writing elements of this film that are very similar to the other Alien films, in good and bad ways. I think it does feel a little bit repetitive. It didn't ruin my experience of this film, but it is something that I do think about when comparing it to the other Alien sequels and how it stands above those films. How does it compare to Alien and Aliens, which is like the holy grail of science fiction, action, horror type films? And that's why it can't get up to, you know, like the 9 or 8s out of 10 of the world, because the story and the writing aren't as good as those two films, and some of the other side characters in the movie are pretty disposable and not interesting and very forgettable comparative to the other Alien sequels that actually had some pretty interesting characters, to say the least.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Even if they weren't the best characters in the world. They were interesting enough and they worked for that particular film. Overall, Alien Romulus was such an awesome science fiction action horror film that is definitely one of the best Alien sequels. This film takes a different spin and different angle of the Alien franchise and breathes so much life into this universe with Fede Alvarez's great direction. I really enjoy the performances and the visual effects and the sound design and the amazing score that all was encompassing together with great cinematography. It's definitely some of the best and amazing looking cinematography I have seen this year. This is definitely one you should go see on the big screen because there is so much love and effort that went into making this film. If you're an Alien fan, definitely check this out. And if you aren't an Alien fan, go see this movie. I think you're going to really enjoy it, and then you can go back and watch the other Alien films because those ones are also pretty good as well. I'm going to be giving it a strong 7 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you seen Alien Romulus, and are you planning on checking out this opening weekend? I would love to hear all about it. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like as you normally should, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following video. I will see you all at the movies.